Hello and welcome to English Fluency Hacks, the podcast for professionals learning English. I'm your host, Sarah. Today, we're discussing a very exciting topic: how to successfully find and start a job in an English-speaking country. This is a goal for many of our listeners, so we've brought in two fantastic guests to share their insights. First, we have David, a career coach with over 20 years of experience helping international clients. Welcome, David.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be here.
And we're also joined by Mark, a software developer who recently landed a remote job with a tech company in the United States. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Happy to be here and share my experience.
Great. Let's start at the beginning. David, what's the first step for someone preparing their English for a professional environment? Many learners worry their English isn't perfect.
That's a common concern. The key is to focus on communication, not perfection. Companies don't expect you to sound like a native speaker. They want to know you can express your ideas clearly and understand others. I recommend focusing on what we call business English. This means learning the specific vocabulary for your industry and practicing common workplace situations, like participating in a meeting or writing a professional email.
That's practical advice. Mark, how did you build your professional English skills before you started applying for jobs?
I did exactly what David suggested. I watched a lot of presentations and tutorials on YouTube related to software development. This helped me learn the right technical terms. I also joined online forums to practice writing about my work. The most helpful thing for me was finding a language exchange partner online to practice speaking. It really helped build my confidence for the interviews.
Confidence is so important. Let's talk about the interview process. David, what are some of the most common interview questions candidates should prepare for?
Almost every interview starts with, "Tell me about yourself." This isn't an invitation to share your life story. It's a chance to give a 1 to 2 minute summary of your professional background and how it connects to the job. You should also be ready for behavioral questions, which often start with, "Tell me about a time when..." For these, I strongly recommend using the STAR method. It's a structured way to answer. S is for situation. Briefly describe the context. T is for task. What was your goal? A is for action. What specific steps did you take? And R is for result. What was the outcome? This method helps you give a clear and powerful answer.
The STAR method is a fantastic tool. Mark, did you use it in your interviews?
Absolutely. They asked me about a time I faced a difficult challenge. So I described the situation where our team was behind on a project deadline. My task was to find a way to speed up our work. The action I took was to automate a part of our testing process. The result was that we saved 10 hours per week and met our deadline. It made my answer much stronger than just saying, "I work well under pressure."
That's a perfect example. Now, Mark works remotely. This is becoming more common. What are the key differences when working with a team from another country entirely online?
Communication has to be very intentional. You can't just walk over to someone's desk. This means writing clear messages and not being afraid to ask questions if you're unsure about something. Also, be proactive in giving updates on your work. It shows your manager you are responsible. Using video calls helps a lot too, to build a personal connection with your colleagues.
Mark makes an excellent point about being proactive. This relates to cultural differences in the workplace. In many Western cultures, especially in the U.S., employees are expected to be independent and take initiative. Don't wait to be told what to do. If you have an idea, share it. If you see a problem, suggest a solution.
That's a big cultural shift for some people. What about etiquette? For example, how important is it to be on time for virtual meetings?
Extremely important. Punctuality is seen as a sign of respect and professionalism. Being on time for a virtual meeting means joining 1 or 2 minutes early so you are ready when it starts. Also, be mindful of communication styles. American business communication is often very direct. People will say what they think clearly and politely. It's usually not personal, it's just about being efficient.
That's a great story. It really shows the power of community. Now, let's say a listener has made it through the interviews and has a job offer. The next step is often negotiation. David, this can be a very tricky conversation to have in a second language. Any advice? That's a very important point about direct communication. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about networking. It's often said that it's not what you know, but who you know. How can international professionals build a network in a new country, especially if they don't know anyone there? This has all been so helpful. As we wrap up, what is one final practical tip you would each give to our listeners? Mark, let's start with you.
Make sure your LinkedIn profile is professional and up to date. Write your profile summary in English and highlight your key skills and accomplishments. Many recruiters use LinkedIn to find candidates, so it's your professional storefront.
Excellent advice. And David?
My tip is to tailor your resume and cover letter for every single job you apply for. Read the job description carefully and use the same keywords they do. Show them you are the perfect fit for that specific role, not just any role. And remember, companies hire people, not just skills. Show your personality and enthusiasm. Your soft skills, like communication, teamwork, and problem solving, are just as important as your technical abilities.
Tailoring your application and highlighting soft skills. Fantastic closing thoughts. So, to summarize for our listeners, focus on clear communication, prepare for interviews using methods like STAR, be proactive in remote work, and understand cultural expectations. David and Mark, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and experience with us today. It's been incredibly valuable.
My pleasure. Good luck to all the listeners out there.
Yes, you can do it. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for tuning in to English Fluency Hacks. Join us next time for more tips on navigating your professional journey in English. Goodbye for now.